You little rotten keg tapper, no name having looking ragged lame rapper. You nut hugger, butt buddy fudge packer. Okay, enough of that. My real friends call me Asher. Laughter.
Welcome to 13 Minutes, the show where we schedule interviews instead of ambushing you after you just played a full set. I'm Paul Goon, and this week I'm hanging out on Zoom with Matt from Brain Cave. What's up, man?
How you doing? Excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited as well. Where's Brain Cave from?
Cleveland. We all live in Cleveland. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you guys make?
I guess now we lean more into like the noisier noise rock side of like post-hardcore, I guess, if you had to, as much as labels can be constricting. We kind of started this band with like no plan or pretense, and it's just over the past couple of years has evolved or devolved into what it is now. But it's like we like a lot of stuff, and I think that all shines through in our 2-minute songs, but definitely like noisier post-hardcore is the short answer there.
Cool. Okay. I understand what you mean. We always get like that brought up. It is constricting genres. I don't know, just kind of like tell people what you sound like, whatever. So yeah, you said you've been a band for like a couple years. How did Brain Cave become a thing? How did you guys get together?
I worked in restaurants for like a decade plus, and I was working in a restaurant here in Cleveland, and I was a chef, and Mike, our guitarist, was a food runner, and we just kind of, we did some closing shifts together and just were talking about music, once it was just me and him, and like we had control of the radio. And like we definitely had a big age gap, not a huge age gap, like we're some years apart. We just connected on a couple of like really important records to me. They're also equally important to him, and it turned into like that classic, like, oh, you like this, do you like that, have you checked out this, oh, I want to check out that. And just those really fun natural conversations you have when you realize that you share like some really important things as far as like what you're into, whether it's art or music or movies. And it's like, hey, we should do something. And he was playing in some punk bands, and I'd taken like 4 or 5 years away from playing in bands to kind of focus on my career a little bit, if you could even call it that. And but like he got me excited, and I was like, I wanted to get the drums out of the case and start hitting them again. And I realized it's something I'd been missing for a couple of years, and I didn't feel complete. So we just started jamming, and brought in Josh, who's a friend of mine from back in the day. Our old bands used to play together a lot, like 10, 11 years ago. And he was in the area, and I was like, hey, do you want to play music again? And he was kind of in the same spot as me. He took some time apart. I talked him into it, and we've just been kind of plugging away for like the past, it'll be almost 4 years. I think it'll be 4 years in October. So which 4
years. Okay. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, that's really cool. Speaking of drums, I know you brought up you're all excited to get the drums out of the case. Is the drummer the craziest member of the band?
Like traditionally, or
yeah. Or in your specific case, it's up to you how you answer that.
No, I've always been kind of like a Looney Tune my entire life. They put me on Ritalin when I was like 5 years old, if that answers that question at all. But I still take something similar to Ritalin today as a 34-year-old. So that, but no, it's weird. Like I have a lot of energy as a person. Some of it's nervous energy, some of it's just energy. And when I'm drumming, I'm definitely like the most in control of any other part of my life. And it's the only time my brain kind of shuts off, and I just focus on one thing, which is nice. I'm definitely like, I don't talk as much as I used to. But when I do talk, I just like what I'm currently in right now. I just go on these like winding rants, so and ramble.
Hey, this is the show.
Yeah, I feel this is a very safe space for my personality right now, so I'm happy to be here for that reason. But I guess I'm probably like I like the wackiest. I don't know. We're all weird in our own ways, but like I definitely, yeah, sure. Short answer, yeah, I'm probably the most out there member of the band, but we're all goofy in our own way, and it's just different levels of like personal awareness and self-preservation and like reserve. Like the other guys are better at social situations than I am. I try not to talk to people very often, but I pick my battles when it comes to just social interactions. But yeah, I'm a weirdo for sure.
So one of you is going to get away unscathed on this one, but is the bass play ooh, is the bass player also like the least cool member of the band? That's another stereotype sometimes, that the bass player is the most uncool member of the band.
Honestly, I think Josh is one of like just the most like I bass player jokes. I love like band meme style like
Yeah.
member jokes. Yeah, because they're funny when they're true. I think they're even more funny. They're even funnier when they're like the furthest from the truth for your personal situation. But like Josh is one of like the coolest, chillest human beings I've ever met in my life. Like, and he doesn't even try to be cool. Like he's just the dude, you know what I mean? And you know, like he's a mechanic, he can literally fix anything with a motor. Like he's got cool dogs, he's got a cool daughter, he's got a cool wife, like he's got a cool life, like he's just a cool dude. Like he collects VWs and fixes them up, and he's
Oh, I
just
fucking love Volkswagens. We got the
yeah,
wrong member of Brain Cave on the show. Bring him
yeah,
on. I want to talk about
he's
those
actually
cars.
yeah, I can set that up. Yeah, he's actually out in his garage working on a car right now, so that's what he's doing. But he's definitely he's cooler than me and Mike, that's for sure. He's just very like he's just the dude, man. He's just like that guy that you're happy that you like, you're lucky to know a guy like him because he's selfless in everything that he does, and you don't have to ask him for help. He just kind of shows up. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy that like he's that guy that wants to help you move. He wants to help you fix something. Like you don't have to like beat around the bush and like talk like buy it. You know what I mean? You don't have to trick him into it. Like he wants to be that person, and he's really fun to be in a band with. I've been in a couple different. We've done some different projects together during this time we've been in Brain Cave, and I've traveled with him in different contexts, and he's just fun to be around, man. He's really cool. You should definitely meet him at some point. He's a little camera shy, but he's a cool guy.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to meet all three of you at some point. I also film in we're in the middle of an interview. Jesus, my brain is so scrambled this morning. I also film
In the
performances.
Brain Cave.
Yeah, which is, and you know what I wanted to know? I'll skip this topic for a second. Speaking of in the brain cave, that might answer my question. Is it like a caved in brain, or is it a brain cave, like a cave of brains?
Um, it's not violent, so it's not a caved in brain. It's definitely like we think of like a cave and like it's as just like a shelter, and your brain is inside. So essentially, like it's just we kind of just smashed some words. We had like a bunch of words written on a page, and they were just like it was just kind of like putting them together to see like what worked, what sounded good to us, whether or not it made sense. And Brain Cave was just kind of what we settled on, and it works for us. And we kind of just like your skull could be a brain cave,
Yeah,
whatever
it
your
means skull, huh? Yeah.
yeah, whatever your whatever physical space your brain is occupying, whether that's like even if it's not physical space, like wherever your brain lives is your brain cave. So like if that you can take that as far in any direction as you want. So it's pretty ambiguous, which I think is fine, and it lends itself to like some cool visuals. Like we can like be really obvious with it sometimes, put brains on stuff because it's just funny.
Yeah. I really like I've seen the art for the different like few. How many do you guys just have, like a few EPs out? You don't have any full lengths, do you?
We did a demo, and then we did like a 3-song demo, and then a 5-song EP like a couple months after that, and then we did a full length last year. Actually, we did it just on cassette though, no LP for that. put it out in the middle of COVID. We couldn't play shows, so like it was just like we up until that point we self-produce and like all of our recordings, and like we also like paid for all the production. So and like as far as like duplication, so like putting out a record in the middle of a time where we couldn't play shows just seemed like a really like silly waste of resources. As much as I'd love that record to be on vinyl, it just isn't. Maybe someday it will, but yeah, we do have an LP, but it's weird because through quarantine we wrote so many songs after the LP was released last July, that we like, now that we just played our first show back last night, and like, you know, since January of 2020, and we only played 2 songs off that record, and because we never really got a chance to play them, we've written so much stuff since then. So it's kind of like I guess it's a good problem to have. Like we never really stopped. You know, we just were really smart about it and just kept writing songs and kept doing like little one-off and split releases here and there, and tried to stay as like, you know, progressive and productive as possible through like a really weird year. But I think it kind of worked in our favor because, you know, I like playing shows, but I'm super agoraphobic. So if I don't have to play shows, it's not the end of the world. So I kind of enjoy, like COVID was like, it's terrible. Like I don't have to get into that. Everyone knows how bad it was for a lot of people, even much more personal levels. But like for me, the way I dealt with it is I was home and I didn't have to go to shows and I got to write music still. So like it wasn't the end of, like it wasn't my person, selfishly, it wasn't the end of the world for me or us. But so yeah, that was a long-winded answer.
No, hey, that's all right, man. Like I said, that's what the show's for. I want all the answers. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I stumbled across Brain Cave in the middle of the pandemic. I think in the middle of the whole lockdown and everything. I found you guys like within the last year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, great Cleveland find, man. Fucking Brain Cave. I honestly, you know, I'm not putting down, you know, the Youngstown scene here, but like this, all these Cleveland bands I've been finding and talking to lately are fucking awesome. Um, where did you play last night?
We played, we did our 7-inch release at Now That's Class here in Cleveland.
Now That's Class. Okay. What's your favorite venue to play in Cleveland? There's a lot of cool ones.
My favorite venue, Class is cool. It's a fun stage. You can hear, like, I'm a big proponent of being able to hear everybody without like relying on monitors. And you don't, like, Class is set up in a way, like even if the monitors like aren't even on, which sometimes happens, you can still hear everybody, which is important to me because I can just play the songs, but I want to still be in the song. I still want to hear the song while I'm playing it. So Class is cool for that reason. And the room's like small and narrow, which I like. It's kind of like a wide night. Those are like my favorite venues. There's a couple venues in Toledo or Ohio that are like that. And then like St. Vitus in Brooklyn. But as far as Cleveland, Grog Shop is really fun. We played there with Caven a couple years ago, and that was a and I love going to shows there because it's like a big. Have you been to the Grog Shop? I'm assuming at some point.
No, you know what, dude? I am like not new to the music scene, I guess, but like I'm a little far behind. I'm still trying to catch up and like I'm kind of new. I've been doing this for like 3 years. And so the Cleveland scene, I still have to venture a little bit. I'm like dipping my toes, but I want to see them all because, like I said, it just seems like everything in Cleveland is so cool as far as the music scene goes.
Yeah, Grog Shop is cool. It's like and it's on the east side, so it'd be closer to you. But it's right there in Coventry, the top of the hill. It's a cool neighborhood, and it's like the stage is like super. It's like maybe 2 feet off the ground, and there's no barrier. So like when big bands play the Grog Shop, like there's no like separation. Like I've seen Converge and Ceremony play there like years ago, and it was out of control. And like it was like I think it was 10. I think Converge was touring on Axe to Fall, and Ceremony was playing Violence, and it was just out of control. Like people were just like hanging from the pipes, and like the venue, like welcome. It's like all the guys that work at Grog Shop, like that's the kind of music they listen to. So like they're like, let the kids go. Like, and I've seen some really cool shows there. It's really fun. It's like a really short, long, like wide stage, and like you can kind of like wraps around, like so you can like be side stage, but you can still see everything, and it's a cool space. A Grog Shop is definitely worth it. Like anytime you have a chance to go see a show there, I think we're playing with Pillars there at the end of this month. But like Pillars,
Yeah, yeah.
they come out your way a little bit. They do really
Yeah,
well
no,
out
yeah.
in
Pillars,
Youngstown.
sorry to cut you off. Pillars actually
Okay.
just played my house a couple weeks ago.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so yeah, they do come out this way. I like those guys a lot. I saw the poster art. That guy, I've seen his art. I don't know his name, but I've seen his art on multiple different posters, man. And that guy who makes that art is so good too.
Yeah, he's been doing. His name escapes me. I feel like such
Yeah,
a,
I don't.
a poser right now, but I forget. I think it's John something. But I could be wrong. Do not quote me on that. He's been doing that for years. I have like posters from like 3 bands ago that he did, like 10, 11, 12 years ago. He does a good job. But yeah, Pillars is cool. We're stoked to play with them. They actually, we have a practice spot at a local rehearsal facility. It's like an old production. It's like an old warehouse that got converted into rehearsal spaces. And Zach and the guys in Pillars, their room is like literally like 15 feet around the corner from us, and that band practices so much, and it's like they just practice like 3 times a week for hours and hours and hours, like, and they just rip, like you can hear them all over that building. They just like, it's cool because like I hear Pillars like subconsciously like a lot, like they're just always playing like when we're there, and I'm stoked to actually play a show with them because we've never actually played with them, and we've known Zach for a while now, and it just never has really fully aligned. But this show should be fun, and I think who else is playing that? A band from down your way as well. What the hell? What are they? I'm so bad at this
Yeah,
stuff.
no, if I know the
Rebreather.
poster, yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah, Rebreather.
yeah, Rebreather was on the poster. They're from Youngstown, yeah. All right, we're not here to talk about Rebreather or Pillars. Both fucking sick bands. I seriously, dude, yeah, those guys in Pillars are fucking so cool. I could talk about them for a minute. Their music's great. I want to talk about you guys though. What's the writing process like for Brain Cave? I know that you guys have been writing music, recently, like you said, through all of this craziness in the world. But how do you guys usually write your tunes?
It's pretty. We all bring riffs. Like I, even as a drummer, I write some stuff every now and then that is not like fully formed, but it's formed enough that I can just like give it to Mike and he can finish it. Josh shows up with stuff. Mike shows up with, he's the guitarist, so plenty of riffs, but like we just find a riff and we just ride it for a while and we just see what comes, like see what works before and after it. And we write, I wish it was more interesting to talk about, but it'd be really cool to watch from like an outside perspective. But like we write really fast. Like we can write like one song. We can write like 4 songs a month, probably like 1 song a week. When I'm like, and we don't throw out very much. And we yeah, it's really simple. Like and we don't repeat a lot of parts. Like we don't beat things to death. Like if it's cool, it's cool, but it doesn't have to happen 4 or 5 times in the same song. Like we kind of just let things be what they are, and just I don't know. I have such a terrible answer, but no, it's we all bring something and we just make it like whoever brought the initial riff or the idea, it quickly, like in the group amongst the 3 of us in the room, becomes a Brain Cave song. Like at the end of like the whole like writing and recording and release process, sometimes I forget which riffs I actually even wrote. Like I'm just like, because it became something so much bigger than just me goofing off at home, like just like fumbling around on my guitar, like that I barely know how to play. But I know how to write power chord songs in our tuning, so I can get far enough. But yeah, it's just, we all kind of just bring. It's funny though, because like the songs that Josh writes, definitely like the ones that he like brings fully formed, those are like, they stand alone in like a really interesting way. But they still work in the context of everything else we do. Um, so there's some really cool Josh songs coming up, and like this next batch of songs that we're currently writing that are like pushing us in like a way darker direction. But it's still very much our music. But like we're really like pushing like our boundaries to like it's bigger and darker and like I don't want to say like something corny like scarier, but like it's got like a vibe to it that we haven't really captured yet. And I'm really excited to they're the kind of songs that you want to play live right now, but you kind of have to like hold back and let everything go through its proper, schedule as far as when things are released and stuff like that. But the rules you have to follow. But I'm excited. We'll probably start playing some of those. We're gonna get antsy and start playing some of those new songs maybe by the end of the month. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm staying tuned, believe me. All right, so man, last question. This is the most important question. The last question is always the most important. Oh, this actually is kind of wow, that's kind of like a serious question. How do you feel about the relationship between music and technology today? This is probably like the most serious question I've ever asked anybody.
That's a great question. I'm actually glad I feel like I'm very prepared to answer that. I think it's great. I for better or for worse, but I'll walk this back a little bit. Like when I was in high school, like 20 years ago, all I wanted to do was just record music all day, like by myself with my band. Like I just was obsessed with like just like the science and process of recording. But when I was in high school in the early 2000s, like it was really expensive. And like if you actually wanted to like have a home studio as a 15-year-old, it was like I got a 16 track recorder instead of a car. And like that was like the choice I had to make. And I still don't regret it, but I currently still don't drive, which I think is a direct result of choosing one over the other. So I should probably correct that. But like I think about all the things I wanted to do that I just couldn't afford, didn't have the access to like different things. And I was like so frustrated by that. And now like technology has like this stuff, like I don't want to say kids, but the stuff that like younger people can do today with just a laptop and like to be able to like produce like mix and master stuff like at a high level just on like a laptop computer you bought for $500 with just like a $200 interface and a couple of microphones, and you can put it out you can publish it to the world, and like everyone can access it in so many ways like immediately. And like that, I think, yeah, there's like artists, like taste is subjective and like taste is relative and art is subjective. Like you don't have to like everything. And there's a lot of like, personally, I'm sure you feel the same way. There's a lot of crap out there, but like it's not crap to everybody. Somebody appreciates it, even if it's just the person that made it. But the fact that everything's out there on like a level playing field with everything else, I think is really, really cool. And if people want to find your music, they can. They don't have to search for it. If it's there, they'll find it. So I think it's really, I look at people to listen to our music, which there's, we couple hundred people a month maybe at its peak, but like they're all over the world in some way. And I think that's really cool to me, to think that someone, like, even if they like listen to half the song and decide they didn't like it in Brazil, it happened. You know what I mean? And that I didn't make any effort to facilitate that happening. And I put it there and somebody found it, and whether they loved it or hated it, probably somewhere in between, hopefully. Because that's usually like that's our demographic, is somewhere in between loving and hating it. But it's just technology definitely has its evils. I work in technology, so I should probably, I have to temper my response to that. But I think when used for good, for the human good, I think it's great, definitely. But I think with music, I think it unites more than it divides. And that's just like music in its rawest form. I don't want to talk about like message board trolls that just hate shit for no reason. Like that's a misuse of technology. But just like be able to create and access it. I think technology is such a powerful tool, and I'm really stoked that the younger generation is getting it at a much more powerful way at a younger age, just in their bedrooms. Like It makes me excited that people can just like create without restrictions, and it doesn't require as much as it used to. So I'm all about. I think it definitely helps more than it hurts. But that's my 2 cents or 10 cents. That felt more like $1.50 of an opinion, but that's what I have to say about that.
Hey, listen, man, there's a reason I didn't make a show about me. I could talk forever. Nobody wants to fucking hear it. The show's about you guys. So it's, the platform's for you to talk forever. But I'm Paul Goon. He is Matt from Brain Cave. The show is 13 minutes and fuck.
Play flute, row crew shit. If you can't be used well, then I guess you're useless. Ulysses S. Grant. We should start a